Okay, Equinese. Equinese is the name of this channel, as well as what I call horse language. Just so you guys know, this is going to get weird. I am a horse trainer / certified riding coach / equine emergency first aid instructor / other things. But I have also been alone in the woods off the west coast of Vancouver Island in Canada for what was almost 10 years by myself with a bunch of horses, and I've been working with horses since I was a kid. I'm also not from a ranch family or a family that's had horses. I am the purple giraffe compared to the sheep of I'm not just a black sheep, I'm a purple giraffe. Okay, when it comes to the fact that my whole entire life is dedicated to horses. So this will be a lot of non sequitur kind of weird talk when it comes to what I believe Equinese is. It is a language, primarily a silent language of touch. Granted, we do use our voices and sounds and stuff like that, obviously. But Equinese is horse language. It's not our language. It's not what we impose on horses. It's what has kept horses alive since the dawn of horses. Okay? It's just simply the way horses communicate with one another. It has absolutely nothing to do with us. To be honest, horsemanship has really nothing to do with us. We are not important, like as we think we are. Past respect and safety that all things deserve, horses don't care how you identify, how many followers you have, what your bank account is, who you sleep with, what you wear, anything that like that just doesn't matter. You can't. It just doesn't matter. Horses just if you bring a lot of that stuff into a pen with a horse, you're already are going to have a lot of problem with Equinese, because Equinese has no ego. It's just talking to horses. So there's and talking with horses using kind of their language. Obviously, we have our reasons for hanging out with horses and riding them and all that kind of stuff. So we get there. This isn't just just how to speak with them, but it's a first part, because there is a lack of awareness to horse body language and horses that there used to be just one human ago. In 1922, becoming almost 1923, one human ago, so 100 years ago, there was horsemanship, and the awareness of horses was paramount. The people that were getting stuff done in 1922 going, it's going to be 1923, 1923 is our year, bitches, we're going to figure out this, we're going to figure out that, and we're going to figure out phones and cars and all that kind of stuff one human ago. The adults that were figuring things out in 1920, when it's going to be 1923, bitches, knew about horsemanship. They could ride. Horses were still integral when it came to our lives, because horses created our societies. Every religious book claims to have created them. They're immortalized all over the world. They fought our wars. They farmed. They did everything. And having that awareness was part of society. Well, within one human, now we have the attention spans of goldfish, and we can barely make it through a TikTok. And that's why there's a lot of problems in horsemanship, and is that they've become more like a coveted possession, and the new war is now in the show pen. So horses don't care about what uniform you wear, what discipline you ride, what breed they are. They don't care if you have them in a crystal stall with buckets full of Perrier and mink diapers, or if it doesn't matter to horses. You could pick that horse up and plop them down in a field, and take another horse from somewhere else and plop them down in a field that has never even been in a stall, and those horses will be able to communicate. It's because this Equinese is primarily body language. Now, once we have an awareness of who we're communicating with, which is horses, this horse here is Spider. He is my Akalteki gelding. He's almost 18 years old. And he's basically now just going to be my kind of trail riding buddy and stuff now that he's, I want him to stay sound for his whole life. I want him to, I don't need to, he's my bud. He's a really great trail horse. But he's also an Akalteki, which means he and the first one born in Canada. So I know everything about him. I know even the selection process to his parents. And my friend went to Russia, got them, brought them back, and chose to create, essentially breed Spider. Akalteki are a breed that's very old. It's about 3,000, 3,500 years old. Okay, so Akalteki are one of the hot bloods of the hot blood group. It's hot bloods, cold bloods, and warm bloods. If your horse is into hot blood, which is Arab Akalteki thoroughbred or any cross therein, or a heavy horse, kind of draft horse, which is a cold blood, then it's a warm blood. So your quarter horse is a warm blood. And there's a big variation within that blood group, because some warm bloods, quote unquote, are actually 15/16 thoroughbred, and are technically on the very hot end of warm. So there's and then there's horses that are 15/16 cold blood and technically are still warm bloods because they've got 1/16 hot blood. So it's like there's warm is subjective, and it's really quite long and fluid. Anyway, all of those horses still speak Equinese. Some might do it a little quicker or a little faster because they're smarter or more innovated or have trauma attached or whatever. But as long as we can kind of see and use our first contact, which will be eye contact with our horse, because everybody seems to think contact is just grabbing something, grabbing a halter, grabbing reins, grabbing a bit, grabbing something. No, contact is contact is contact. I'll work into connectivity and contacts and those kinds of things as we go on, because Equinese is just part of this philosophy of how to work with horses, and it has many pieces. So this long rambling kind of stuff, these videos will get long. They'll also possibly get split into parts, and they'll be like odd splits. Like I'll just split them at X minutes and then do part 1, part 2, part 3 kind of thing. So they're going to be kind of weird edits because I am just going to speak, and then I'll make sure to break them down. These are kind of intended to be listened to while people are doing their chores, doing their stuff, so that there's no video to stop and watch. I'm not going to stop and frame up videos and do that kind of thing. I got too much to do during the day, and it's just me and my phone. So we're going to kind of have a little bit, just a little introduction to the parallel universe that is horses. Horses are herbivores. That's all they eat is vegetation. So, and they are prey animals. Us, human beings, are omnivores. And we have our eyes at the front, just like dogs, which we can also communicate with really well, because societies that have had horses and dogs are definitely different than societies that have never had horses or dogs. Though the differences in those societies is obvious. And like I said, horses have created our entire society. They're even woven into our language. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Rode hard, put away wet. Calm, cool, collected. Vetted out, trotted up. A car is a motorized carriage, motor carriage, and horseless carriage. So, like, really, it's just a shortened version of carriage. Horsepower is a unit of measurement. I might have already said that. And everything is, people don't even realize that they're using horse terms a good majority of the time. Curbing an appetite, curbing all those kinds of things. Handing over the reins, champing at the bit, that kind of stuff. Those are all horse terms. They're just, horses are woven into our life. And it used to be a skill. Husbandry and horsemanship used to be a skill that was just part of what people had to do one human being ago. So this channel is to be able to show people that Equinese hasn't changed. Just because society has whipped along like some kid wielding dad's gun doesn't mean that Equinese has changed. I think it's 1.7. It used to be 60 people a year died, and that was what I said for years. 60 people a year have died around horses in North America. Now it's like 80 to 100, and there's way less riders. So it just shows you that people who only think that insert saddle, insert discipline, insert breed here, insert uniform, that say this is the only thing. Well, my horse can't do that because my horse is an insert saddle, insert discipline, insert point system here. Just no, those are horses that are utilized for something else. They're not, this isn't, horsemanship is horsemanship is horsemanship. Regardless of breed, saddle, uniform, discipline, doesn't make a difference. So we're going to touch base on that. So Spider is a very obvious horse. Akalteki have very expressive eyes, and they're easy to see. So I'll start off with just a little kind of thing. I'll try to keep these short. It's going to be really hard for me. Horses can see, people say 350. I always say 340 degrees because some horses have so much neck pain from how much, and spinal pain from how badly they're ridden. Even if their outline shape is what people are looking for, that cookie cutter outline shape they just crank horses into and not see them as individuals. Which is usually insert saddle, insert discipline, insert uniform here. And we're looking at the inline shapes, what's inside that outline. Okay, we want to see relaxation. We want to see inline shapes. So, Spider, because horses have the ability to use monocular vision, binocular vision, which is usually when you see pictures of horses with both ears up and they're looking kind of in the distance. So, like, that's just the way that horses look. So, but they also have the ability to use monocular vision. And Spider's always very obvious with his monocular vision, mainly because I've known him since he was 10 months old. And He's a criminal and a doorknob, and he's my best buddy. I trust him with my life. So, Spider here, as we can clearly see, his pupil and his ear are in line. So basically, wherever a horse's ear is where their eye is. So if you have both ears up forward, that means both eyes are up forward. If you have one ear dropped and one ear moved, then the horses will split their attention back and forth. They are huge. They're huge. They live in a parallel universe to ours. Their ears move 180 degrees. They can see 300. I always say 340, but 340 to 350. They are incredibly strong and powerful and athletic. This particular horse, no word of a lie, could jump 360 degrees, land, and just keep eating just the same way he is right now. And he's done it when he was a kid. He still goofs around all the time. And he's 18. He could kick my head off into pink mist if he wanted to. He could also strike and grab me and turn me into literally unrecognizable pulp if he wanted to. Okay? The likelihood of meeting a truly rogue horse is pretty low. But traumatized and defensive are everywhere. Okay? So if we're aware of what horses are capable of, how their bodies work, how a sound horse or a healthy horse moves around, and what their range of motion should be, is by watching their behavior, watching the way they are. To walk into the pen and know where your horse is before you even grab a halter, before he even engages with you. Or if they're most horses are so into seeing you that they're right at the fence. They should be. You shouldn't have to go chase my horse and bribe him in with anything. You should just approach me. This horse I can call. So, you can see clearly that Spider's ear and eye are on me. At that point, actually, I dropped my phone down a little lower and over to the side because I wanted to try to see. So you can see I am not right behind the phone. My hand is dropped down, and he's kind of watching like what I'm doing. But he's chewing, he's eating, he's not concerned at all with what it is. That's kind of happening because I play around with him all the time. I just call him Buttface and say sup face, Buttface, and he's like my buddy. He's a dork. You rib buddies, you chirp at buddies. I'm Canadian. I chirp all the time. So you're going to hear me, I swear to, so you're going to hear that as well. So I apologize in advance. It is what it is. So we can see that he's using the left side of his brain right now, while his attention is probably on, like his outside eye is going to kind of be not really turned, but kind of turned. And I'll show you what I mean. So that his attention's kind of on me right now. That's where he is. Now, Spider is very obvious, so he's happened to give me these pictures the other day. So now what he's done is he's tilted his nose toward me because he is aware of me. He's got one ear on me. But now you can see he's looking at his buddy Rigby. Riggy the bee is on the fence there. And Rigby's Spider's bud. Okay, he's got a new boy bud. They sit and they fart around and they act like guys. And he thinks it's great because he lives with two mares. And he's like, I'm done with all this girl matriarchal stuff because horse society is matriarchal. And that's another thing that people don't seem to understand. They think anything's all dominance and submission and this and that and giving in and I'll be the boss and I'll be the alpha. Well, alpha mares are a lot different than matriarchal alphas are a lot different than patriarchal alphas. Okay, so horse world is matriarchal. It's run by mares. It's not run by stallions. Stallions are there for breeding and fighting, and that's it. And if they get killed and something else moves in, then that's that's how it works. They're not in control of the herd. The herd tells, if you believe me, a dominant mare could mess up a stud, man, pretty bad. And so, we have this idea that we personify them like dogs. Well, they're not. Dogs, we can personify a lot of their behavior to make it understandable for us to translate. But Equinese is not our language. It's a brain we can tap into as an omnivore. We're also prey, because there's so many things that could eat us. Like if you just went out in jeans and a t-shirt and had to fight insert massive list of things that can eat us, we're gonna lose. Like, this isn't standing on the shoulders of giants holding weapons and learn. No, this is just base human, base predator. Insert thing. So many things that can eat us. Okay, so many things. So we have the ability to tap into a prey mind as well. So a lot of times people live in a prey mind, and that's why they're nervous. Of horses are nervous or scared of being around things or whatever, because they're tapped into that prey mind, but they're not tapped into the predator mind that an omnivore also exists. Because obligate carnivores are one way. Think cats are obligate carnivores. Insert cat here. They're obligate carnivores, so they have a very different look at things. This is an obligate herbivore horses. There's lots of them. So we need to be able to just tap into that mind. That's why humans got as far as they did, because humans have had horses and dogs assist them, but now they've just been discarded as playthings or status symbols and not remembered as what they've done, because they're not given respect and safety. Granted, a lot of people don't give respect and safety, period, okay, to anything, because sociopathy is what makes you successful a lot of the time in our weird little world, the way it's changed in one human. So anyways, Spider is now looking at Riggyby, but he's got his nose tilted toward me because he's aware that I'm there, so he's going to still be chewing, but he's going to be making sure that I'm still around. Has one ear on me. This horse is not concerned. He's eating breakfast. He's not eating breakfast. He's finishing up one part of his breakfast. And he's just chewing. But you can clearly see that his right ear is on the fence to Rigby. Now, if we see his pupil, we can tell that it is now focused on where the right ear is focused. So he is just right now just checking through the right eye, just looking at Rigby. But then his ear's on me, his nose is tilted more for me, so he's aware of both of us. Okay, this is what he'll feel comfortable knowing. He's got a purpose. He knows that he has friend on this side, friend on that side. He's going to feel really good about eating and stuff like that. So if I'm aware of this, then now I know I've got a super engaged horse that's ready to do stuff. Okay. A lot of horses have had people just not understand them, that they try to force them into something, and the horses just don't get it, so they become really disengaged. They get into something called learned helplessness, and those are the horses that just stand there, that people walk up to and just slam halters on, and then they just kind of drag them out. Or they have horses that are so confused and so unhappy with the way that they engage with their people that they'll leave. Like, they're like, nope, you can't catch me. And that's in just engagement with the human. Like, this horse is like borderline annoying. Like, get away from me, man. Like, go do something. Because he's like, oh no, we're just gonna stand here and I'm gonna go, so I can hang out, we're friends, and it's like, and we are. But sometimes I gotta get shit done, right? And but we can see now, if we are aware of the way that monocular and binocular vision work, number one, that's how the difference in the world, where they see 340 to 350 degrees. A healthy horse that's not in pain, okay, that doesn't have those translations on top of Equinese, doesn't have trauma that we have to work our way through. And that's what we usually do as horse trainers, is work with troubled horses. We don't necessarily start horses unless you're just specialized in starting. A lot of what we do is help confused horses understand their people by teaching their people how to recognize what they're saying. That's really all we're doing. So Equinese is a weird language. I'm a weird person, and shit's gonna get weird. It's part of a philosophy that has a lot of pieces in it. And horsemanship is all about the horse. That's what horsemanship means to me. Horse-human relationship, horsemanship. It's not man-horseship. It's not look at me and how rad I am, so I can tell you I'm an insert whatever awesomeness here of insert awesomeness here or whatever. I'm a that of this, that. Is like, that doesn't matter. Horses don't give a shit. They care about how your hands work, how you interact, and how you stay safe. Because we also understand that out of all the riders, I'm talking about North American statistics here, okay, because I live in Canada. North American statistics are that people that own horses, it's like 5% of them show. Maybe 8% of them show. Most people who own horses don't show. They just ride because they love horses. Most people are amateurs. Just because we glorify and this X insert, saddle insert, discipline inserts, breed here, is insert uniform here, kind of thing to be the rad of whatever that is. That's a small world compared to the rest of the world, right? One human ago, everybody understood horses. One human. The people that were getting shit done in 1923, they understood horses. Okay? They could all ride. They all had the spatial awareness and the respect and safety to just get shit done. And that's the difference now. That's why we have goldfish mentality TikTokers. Do you know what I mean? And these people are not going to be able to ride, or people who have a really judgmental look at riding. I do. I get mad about it because to me it's just like, well, I wouldn't say judgmental. Yeah, I guess it would be because I can tell you why. I can justify it. I can tell you every reason why I think somebody's horsemanship is no good. Okay? Or has bad moments, or has a moment that, and I will tell you, and I will describe it, and I will, especially if I see video or see it in life, absolutely, even a picture, totally. I can see that what's happening because horse anatomy is its only way. Horses see certain ways, their defense systems, and if we're aware of all those things, we up our safety game by a ton. Because then they respect us for understanding how their universe works, because it's entirely different than ours. We can't see monocularly and binocularly in 340 to 350 degrees, and our ears aren't so in-tuned and aware. We don't have the ability to shake our skin to get a paniculus reflex, to shake our skin to get flies off us. We cannot go 0 to a super mega fast in a split second and be able to eliminate somebody's head like pink mist if wanted. Okay? And out of defense, that happens a lot. So like I said, 1.7 people a week die in North America working around horses, with less riders than there's ever been. And in history of human beings, the least amount of riders in the history of human beings is right now. Okay? And that's why Equinese is becoming a lost language. That's why it's a very important part of the philosophy that helps us have horses that can live 30 years sound and enjoy them, and entire families can enjoy them, and be able to do whatever you want. Get on and go and chase cows one week, and then go to a dressage clinic, and then go to working equitation, and then go to extreme trail, and then go to polo. Do you know what I mean? You can do those things. You can just grab a garrote bull because it looks like fun, and your horse isn't going to bolt and die because you've picked something up because it sees a massive weapon. You know what I mean? It's like this is just part of learning how to be human again, I guess. because horses are always horses. So we've got to be human. We got to drop our shit. None of it matters. We don't matter in Equinese. We have to learn, interpret, learn, and translate a language that's got so many dialects. Fear is one of the dialects. Trauma, and then trying to define the trauma is definitely one dialect, because horses that have had X happen to them tend to do this, or horses that have had this happen to them tend to have this list of things that are associated, whether it's learned helplessness or defense or anxiety or depression or or whatever that comes with it. Like, we have to be able to see it, because there's different types of horses, and I'll get into body types, blood types, and even just the physiology and stuff makes a huge part of it. And they're bred now differently too. Like, this horse here is super smart. That's why he's so easy to read, and he's a horse I've known for a long time. I'm going to end up using a lot of the horses I'm working with right now, just to be able to know, because those are the pictures that are on my phone, and be able to talk about certain horses. So anyways, Equinese. Sorry guys, it's going to get weird. And welcome to Equinese. Thanks for dropping by. Be well. And let's get weird, guys. Let's talk horses. Later.